It was one of those perfect summer days, the kind of day that just begs you to go outside and have an adventure. So Emma and her little sister Luna skipped out the front door and into the whispering woods behind their house. The woods were filled with the sweet songs of birds and the sound of buzzing bees. As the girls walked deeper into the woods, they began to hear the sound of leaves rustling even though there was barely a breath of wind. And the sound seemed to be coming from all around them. "Do you hear that, Emma?" whispered Luna, her eyes wide with wonder. "The trees are whispering." Emma, who was 2 years older and a little more skeptical, rolled her eyes. "Don't be silly, Luna. Trees can't talk." But just then the whispering grew louder, and as the girls stopped to listen, they heard a voice as clear as day. "Whoever finds this place will have good fortune for a year." The voice seemed to be coming from the oak tree in front of them. And as Emma looked up, she saw something strange. There, hidden amongst the leaves, was a tiny door no bigger than a bird's nest. "Wow," breathed Luna. "I wonder if we should go inside." Emma shrugged. "Why not? We're already in the woods. What's the worst that could happen?" As the girls approached the tree, the whispering grew louder. Then suddenly, as if it had been blown open by a strong wind, the door swung inward, revealing a dark opening. Taking a deep breath, Emma stepped through the door and into the tree. She had no idea what to expect, but she was prepared for anything. To her surprise, however, instead of finding a cozy den or a family of field mice, she found herself in a long, dark tunnel. The tunnel was narrow, barely wide enough for her to fit through, and it was pitch black. But as her eyes began to adjust to the darkness, she saw that the tunnel wasn't empty. In fact, it was filled with hundreds of glowing plants that lined the walls. Some of the plants glowed a bright blue, while others shimmered with a soft green light. And as Emma moved further into the tunnel, she saw that the plants were growing towards a giant opening at the end. "This is amazing," whispered Luna, her voice echoing in the tunnel. "It's like a secret underground garden." As the girls made their way through the tunnel, they continued to hear the whispering of the trees. And now they understood where the sound was coming from. Each plant in the garden had a tiny mouth hidden amongst its leaves and roots. And as the girls passed by, they would whisper secrets into the plants, which would then glow brighter before falling silent again. Finally, the girls reached the end of the tunnel and stepped out into a clearing. And what they saw made their jaws drop in surprise. Before them lay a beautiful garden unlike any they had ever seen. There were flowers and plants everywhere, and each one glowed with a soft, ethereal light. The plants and flowers were arranged in intricate patterns, and the entire garden seemed to be floating above the ground. In the center of the garden was a huge oak tree, the same oak tree that had led them to this place. And as they stared up at it in wonder, they heard the whispering one last time. "Whoever finds this place will have good fortune for a year." As the girls turned to leave, they noticed a small wooden box at the entrance to the tunnel. It was no bigger than Luna's hand, and it was made of the same wood as the door. Curiosity got the better of them, and Emma opened the box. Inside, they found 4 small wooden tokens, each carved with the image of a different plant. "Wow," whispered Luna, holding up her token, which had a tiny flower carved on it. "What do you think this means?" Emma shrugged. "I don't know, but let's go find out." And so the girls raced home, their heads filled with questions. They had stumbled upon a magical place, and they couldn't wait to learn more about it. As they skipped down the street, they didn't notice the old woman watching them from her window. A knowing smile played on her lips as she leaned back in her chair. She had been expecting them. The girls had been destined to find the Whispering Garden, and she had known it would happen sooner or later. Now the adventure was just beginning. The girls had found the Whispering Garden, but what would happen next? Would the magical plants help them on their quest? And what exactly was the old woman's role in all of this? If you want to find out what happens next, stay tuned for more updates. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are released. With your support, Emma and Luna's adventures will continue.